just as yeah. That and Secret Handshakes. I don't know. I like the Great Filter and Drake somewhere probably after the Great Filter. Fermi maybe last. Yeah, similar list.
I like that you bumped Great Filter up, Kevin, on your list. I think I would agree with I bumped it up. I think we got like a lot of flack for that when it came out, and I kind of like fed into the feedback. And now looking back, it's not like I think I was a little bit brainwashed by other people's opinions on it, and I feel a lot better about it these days.
Yeah.
It's a great record. You guys wrote amazing. That was just you two, right? As far as songwriting, mostly.
Yeah.
Probably.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys killed it, man. I love that record.
Thanks.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. Mine are probably Last and First Men, Choice of Catastrophes, Zoo Hypothesis, Secret Handshakes, and then I'm not sure which.
And the rest.
Right. And then Fermi.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you? Oh, I can't remember. Did you? Because you guys both played, even though you played on a couple of the records live, you both played stuff from all the records, pretty much, right? Like,
yeah.
Oh, hey, it's working on Tubbering Unofficial now. Logan got it going somehow. I think he's probably doing what you're doing or something.
Love
Pretty
it.
Cool. Oh, he's good at computer.
Maybe he's doing a thing from my Instagram feed, so that
maybe yes, it's a copy of a copy.
Yeah, of a copy.
I've already seen the question on the side. I guess we should have went with this first. The most asked question: are you going to tour or play live? And no. Next question. Who knows? A one-off show might be possible if something great came along, but we have no offers or plans or anything. A tour, definitely not. Unless it was some giant tour. It's just not how we're set up right now. So
like we used to be on the road all the time, and that meant we were already practiced and show is very difficult. I mean, a tour would be out of the question, sorry, but maybe a show if the stars aligned. But even that is not really on the radar for now.
Hey, Patrick's here. That's what Flash people look like.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick.
Look at that guy.
This is our guitarist, Patrick.
Hi.
What up, Patrick?
What I missed? Did you just crush all my dreams for a live show?
For a tour.
Yeah.
Crushed your dreams for a tour.
That's fair.
But we'll see. I don't know. We got enough of us here. We could probably do a song or two. All right, next question. Hopefully we go a little faster than that. It took us 10 minutes for one question, and we have a bunch. Let's see. Will you guys release any more vinyl or CD of your older albums? We will release vinyl of our new albums. I was going to say that. In fact, it is up right now. I was using this as a way to promote the new album too. So the vinyl is up. I will put the link. You can get there from Spotify. I also have some old copies of the best of vinyl up there, what I have left. So go check it out. I will put the link in Facebook if you don't know where it's at. Vinyl of old albums? No, we just don't sell enough. To explain it, like 200 vinyls would cost $5,000. 300 vinyls only cost $6,000. So that's great, but we're only going to sell 200. So you end up having to charge so much money, and I hate doing that just to break even. So I just don't think our old stuff is financially viable right now to all put out, but oh well, you'll have to just stream the music. It's another one. Me. Let's do what's recommended must watch TV or movies. Anyone got anything? I haven't been watching much TV lately.
Oh.
I saw Heretic last night.
How was that?
Actually, really, really good. Highly recommended. Anything A24 is always pretty bonkers. But Hugh Grant as a villain is spectacular. So.
Oh, what? Okay.
Yeah, he's a villain, and it's interesting. It's religious horror, not in the way that you think it is, but it's interesting because it's not really pro-faith or anti-faith. It's something in between, and I'm a sucker for any Mormon thing. So,
Gray Faith.
what's that?
Gray Faith.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a trying to find that middle gray area, but totally recommended.
Nice.
Did you ever see Rec? Like Record? REC?
I watched all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. The second one's great. Just you said that you think it's a zombie movie, and the second one explains they're possessed people.
Yeah.
Spoiler. All right. Anybody else got anything you want to?
I'm excited about Dune Prophecy, and I'm watching the last half of Cobra Kai right now.
Oh yeah.
which is
No, I
great.
never did see that. It was good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's-
Okay.
It's a good, fun, aware of itself, hokey thing.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasure.
I'm rewatching Electric Dreams, the Philip K. Dick, short stories.
Mm-hmm.
I watched them on Saturday. Have
Amazon?
you guys ever seen them? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's on
yeah.
Amazon. Yeah, I love his stuff. I don't really. Yeah, I haven't been watching much TV either, I guess.
Usually we can go on for hours about
I
that.
know. I was gonna say.
Somebody in the comments brought up Scavenger Rain, Mike.
Oh, dude.
Somebody in the Tubbering comments was
Come
like,
on.
"Oh, I
That's.
hope they know Scavenger Rain."
It's.
And Mike introduced me to Scavenger Rain, even though I worked on the soundtrack for it. I
Yes.
had never watched it, and then Mike's like, "You should really watch it," because I do tons of soundtracks and I just don't watch all of them like that I'm mastering. And so, anyways, Mike turned me on to that, and I know you're a big fan of that. It's excellent.
Freaking amazing. Yep. Highly recommend.
All right. Was the new album inspired by the 2020 movie or the 1930 novel Last and First Men? The title was, and I guess thematically, sure, that deals with far future and traveling and space colonization, and that's kind of a loose theme of the new album. So yeah, tidally, yeah, but I wouldn't say any of the lyrics are necessarily about that. These are me questions. I'm trying to look for all questions. Can we get a cover song album? Do you really want a cover song album?
It's funny that Prees and Colon is one of our most streamed songs.
Really?
Yeah, it's in the top. It might be in the top 5. It's in the top 10 for sure.
Whoa.
And that's a cover song. Yeah, and that kind of blows my mind. It's very weird.
I thought you guys did a great job. I just remember marveling at Kevin. Was like, I don't know if Kev, you remember me asking, was like, how did you remember that? And you're like, well, the good thing is no one would know because it's gibberish. You're like, good point. I did not think about that.
Except you couldn't just do gibberish. If I didn't,
yeah.
if I just said blah, blah, yeah,
Right. But yeah, like no one's gonna really have that memorized. Is I think what your point seemed to be.
Well, I think with some of it, what I did was I listened to it over and over and wrote the lines down phonetically how I heard it. But sometimes there'd be a weird syllable that I just couldn't tell at all what he was doing. And I'm sure that was the Italian trying to do English. So I figured I'll just come as close as possible. And if I add my English twang to it, then that's just part of doing it. So
English twang.
since that's what he was going for anyway.
Yeah, totally.
Gibberish, one chord the entire song, and the snare is on the one beat. It's like, that's insane.
right. Let's see. Sorry. The song Without You. I thought I saw some lyrical bit about the collective consciousness. Am I right? Yes. Who is Alexander and why is he in charge? It's Alexander Haig. After the president and vice president were shot, Reagan, back in the 80s, Alexander Haig, who was actually fifth in succession, announced, everyone calm down, I'm in charge here. And it became a funny little gaffe. And I think I just watched something with that story on, and I'm always looking for something to write about. And that's how that came about.
If memes existed, then you know there would be all these like Alexander Haig names. Here,
In charge.
like I'm in charge, or like, yeah, he's working at a drive-through or something, and something goes wrong and he's in charge. It would be great.
Hey, can I respond to somebody in the comments here?
Please do.
Because I just looked this place up literally 2 days ago. So Zach is saying, I remember a Halloween show in Springfield in around 2009, and another show in Springfield was with Mos Giganticus, and that venue showed up in something else I did recently. It was called Black Sheep. I looked up the whole history. It is gone. I think that was the first show I ever played in Springfield. It made me try a horseshoe, and that was my first horseshoe experience. And then my wife is from my wife now is from the Springfield area, and I have also gone back to have horseshoes since, and I have also concluded that they are way overrated. Haven't found my vibe yet on them.
Great.
But,
there goes all our Springfield fans.
Yeah. I remember also thinking, I'm like, this place is a mess at night. There were like fights in the streets and shit. And that venue is called Black Sheep, and it's since closed. It was all ages, no booze or anything. And they did start a record store called Dumb Records, I think, in the Champaign to Springfield area. Anyway, I looked at the whole damn history of this place. So, there you go. Maybe you remember, at least I was there for the Most Gigantic show.
Nice.
What was the name of the big horseshoe place? It was like someone's name.
I looked it up not that long ago. It'll come right up if you Google it.
Darcy's.
Darcy's
Darcy's Pint.
Yeah.
Darcy's Pint.
Darcy's Pint. Yep. Yeah, they're still the one. It's still the thing. I mean, they're still the big one.
It's kind of fascinating to look at like regional cuisine in the United States, because there's other states that have and other cities that have their like things. You know, it's like kind of a cool little. I like going there, and I like them.
Yeah, it's special there because it like they really didn't branch outside of the 217 area code. Like you can't get them in Chicago, you can't get them anywhere else. It's like it literally stuck to like the 217 309 Central Illinois.
Italian beefs have been getting out. I feel like I want to say that. Like, granted, I've lived outside of Chicago for 20 years, but when I moved to Seattle, I was like, no one knew what it was. Now it seems like, oh, this place does an Italian beef. Granted, it's not like legit, but yes, pretty. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, we have 2 Portillos down here, so.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Get your fix.
Yeah.
Now here's a good one in the comments. Can you talk about the animated Impress Your Creators video on YouTube? Were you contacted before that happened? Has it impacted streaming numbers at all? We were not contacted. I was kind of just surfing YouTube and it went up and it got recommended. It's like, hey, someone made a video to our song. And it blew up. I don't know if it's affected our streaming numbers at all. Things like that are cool, but then they go away.
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't hurt.
I thought it was great, though. It's funny because that's like the 3rd animation that's been done to it.
Yeah.
I think, right? Or 3rd or 4th?
Maybe more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right. Let's see. Any song? Oh, here's a good one. Any songs on the new album that changed drastically from their demo versions to their final recordings and mixes? Really only think of Greenlight. I know the structure of the whole song changed. Just because originally,
Same with Fixer Upper.
yeah,
Yeah, Rob took that because initially I did it and then Sean helped, and it was this tiny little boop, and then Rob took it and pasted it. But yeah,
they definitely a few songs came into their own, but I don't know any drastic changes.
The only thing that comes to my mind, and I wouldn't qualify it as a drastic change either, but like Hazardous Occupation was like a minute and a half longer than the first.
Yeah.
We had to like, it's already a long song, but it was like, everything was like, every section was almost like twice as long on the demo. And I knew we had to trim some of that, but it still doesn't sound any different than it sounds now.
Well, this one's fun. A hypothetical tour. I understand why a tour is unlikely, but in an ideal world, what kind of set list would you do? And what would you open up? What would the encore be? What bands would you like to take on the road with you? And lastly, Rob, would you still attempt to stand on and jump off your keyboard?
that is the $1 million question.
I think I could do it.
Yeah,
I think I could do it.
I have absolutely no idea what the set list would be. I mean, just starting a show, we would have to figure that out, like what we would like playing, what would be people would expect to hear from us.
I feel like we would just have to like what everybody wants. That's what we would have to give them. And our shows used to be like 40 minutes long, 45 minutes. We'd have to do like 2 hours or something.
Yeah.
To like make it even worth our time of like doing something. It'd have to be like, yeah.
I don't know. If we did like a 2-hour show, I don't know if we could do that back to back like we usually do.
That would be tough.
I need to like work out or do some cardio before or something like that.
Singing wise, I'd be basically screaming for 2 hours.
Totally. Yeah, you would be cashed.
I think this thing happens like after you, like especially after you turn 40, you think you can still do the thing. But you're like, I can still fucking do that, right?
Oh, dude.
And then you try and you're like, fuck. Things do not work like they used to.
Many, many moons ago, I found some sort of demo on SoulSeek simply labeled ATGC with 2 numbered tracks, 1 Invalid Demo and 5 Moto Life. Was there anything actually between those 2? Is this a real thing or a fan bootleg? I think it's a real thing. If it's ATGC, I think that was one of the answers on one of the ARGs I did because it was the DNA sequence, and Moto Life was a cover we did a long time ago. Quickly, I don't recall Invalid having a demo. Maybe
it did. It definitely did. Yeah, we
Oh.
recorded it. I think in the practice space on the 16 track before we went into the studio with it.
Back then, when I did those, I wanted some kind of prize for figuring it out. So I found any demos or any song I could to put on there for download.
I remember like so that was what, like when we wrote Invalid and we did that Moto Life song, that was like 2001.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Or
I remember
that.
we were like on the Chicago scene, and a big thing like in the Chicago scene at the time was like there was always these like tribute records, right? Like Kate Bush tribute album. So like all the Chicago bands would do a Kate Bush song and they'd put out a Kate Bush tribute album, or Alice Cooper, or blah blah blah. And I remember thinking like we should get into that scene. We should be like on all these, like we should. And I heard somebody was doing, I think it was the band themselves was doing a tribute to themselves, Moto, MOTO. That was the band's name. And I don't even know that anything ever came out, but I was like, let's get this. We got to be on all these. We got to be on every single one of these cover albums. Like exposure.
That's right. We got it. The Alice Cooper one came from that. And the Johnny Cash, the Faith No More one. That
Sonic
was all...
Youth. Yeah.
Do you remember
That's all.
who did this?
I'll take responsibility. That's my fault. My bad.
Who facilitated that? Like, what label was that through?
Different ones. A bunch of those that we just rattled off were on Invisible, but the Sonic Youth was on something else, and the Moto one, like I don't even know came out, but yeah, different labels, and like people would put them out independently, but it was like
Yeah,
it was a
did
big
few
thing for a minute.
Other bands, yeah. Like I think I did a Cure one and a David Bowie one, and there's like a lot of that shit going on in Chicago in like
That was a
early
thing.
2000s.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah, it was a thing. It was kind of cool. Yeah.
Right. That's a good answer. When can we expect the next album? You're all too creative to not have at least an album's worth of songs in the can nearly finished. Yeah, well, when we decide to do one, I think we can get the songs done fast. It's just
Yeah, I think we got some good material that's from this last album. That either, well, I don't know. I mean, Kev, if some of them didn't speak to you, or maybe just didn't get to them, or for whatever reason, but it seems like we wrote a lot.
a lot. Yeah,
Like, was it like 40 or?
I think it was about 40 songs in there.
Yeah.
I wrote
Yeah.
lyrics to maybe 25 of them. We demoed 23 of them.
Yeah,
Ended up
yeah.
with 16 or so on the album. I think those numbers are right.
Something on there.
I'm like I personally like a little emotionally exhausted though. You know, like I need
Yeah.
like a little bit of time before I could like
7 years.
Yeah, 7-year baby. But it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of like you pour a lot of emotion into it. It's like we're all great. I mean, a lot of great talent in this like group here, but it's also it's it's like it's not like boom, here's an album. It took us like a whole 2 years to make this really from start to finish.
Yeah.
So it's a big like mountain to climb,
Yeah, a lot of that is on your shoulders too. So I understand where, but yeah, it is taxing. It's like, I give some time and let the creative juices flow again and reapproach whenever.
All right, here's one for you, Rob. I want to know what gear Rob used on the early albums.
Well, so I had a Korg MS-2000 that I used a lot, but I didn't get that till Fermi. So when I joined the band, I think it was Jason or Mouse gave me like this synthesizer that's like it had like a million sounds in it. It was like piano sound, organ sound, this fake guitar sound, and I used that a lot of that on Drake, and I kind of used that throughout the years. It's like a Boss Dr. synth or something.
Yeah, I remember that. That's awesome.
I think I've got it in my closet. I would whip it.
That would be
out
so
and
rad.
get it.
That's awesome.
I don't think I see it. I've got my gear closet right over here, but I'm not spotting it easily. But I've got it somewhere. But then, in studios, I would use what they would have in studios. So if a studio had like a nice upright piano or a grand or a B3 organ, I would use that. So at all the different studios we recorded at, I would always kind of take advantage of what they had. And then, probably from the Great Filter on, I was like, doing a lot of my own like producing, and a lot of that is like a combination of hardware and software. I mean, tons of software on the last two, soft synths for sure. Yeah, lots of like Omnisphere and Moog, like the UAD Moog, to name a couple.
Cool. Here's one that's kind of funny since Patrick just had his speech. Do you remember the show at the Black Sheep Cafe in Springfield, Illinois? One that got canceled due to a tornado, and you played in the basement with a kazoo. Do you recall that? We were playing the show, bunch of kids there. Tornado hit. They put all of us in the basement. Guess we still had that we need to entertain feeling since we were at a show, so we played some songs down there. I think everyone had fun, and then we all
it was more of a sing-along than us playing songs. It was kind of like the whole place and us kind of like, like clicking the walls to make a beat, and like we didn't have our instruments down there, like I think I had
we were playing the melodica. Yeah. There's a video of it on YouTube. It's pitch black. But
That was it. It was melodica and like our bodies and our voices, right?
yeah,
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, that
pretty
was very
cool.
memorable. That was
Yeah, that's awesome.
all right. Do you still think psychology is BS, not science, Rob?
why me?
Because you wrote the lyrics to that song.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think we talked about it last time we did one of these, and yeah, like I've got the same answer. When you're young, like everything's black and white, like fuck this or yeah that, and then like you grow up a little bit and you're like, oh yeah, there's stuff in between all that stuff. There's gray, that you forget about. You never realize there was gray stuff when you're young, and so I think when I wrote the lyrics to that, I was very much like, fuck psychology, and I don't feel that way at all anymore. There's gray, plenty of gray / it's probably the opposite of what I used to think, if anything.
Alright. Can we talk about Living with Renee's Head? What's up with that song title? I feel like the lyrics are contradictory at times too. Blah blah blah. Yeah, when we wrote that song, actually, I'll go into that song without really talking about the song. So when we started off, we were kind of the young little punk rock singing about silly things, and that's what we wanted to do. And it was after Mashed Potato came out, I think we as musicians wanted to grow and we wanted to add keyboards and everything. And the first song we wrote in our new direction with keyboards, and something probably you don't know, I was our first keyboard player.
yeah, you wrote that line.
Yeah.
I remember that shit.
And that was the first song we did kind of as the let's get a little more serious and change directions. The song itself, we wrote that in 96 or 97. I was 22 at the time. I think I had just read some philosophy books, and the Renee in question was Rene Descartes. And who knows what I was
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I messed it up. I don't have enough.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a 22-year-old trying to write an early serious song about philosophy and whatnot, and who knows what I was writing about. I don't remember. There you go.
How often do you go back and like listen to songs that you wrote lyrics for and then have no fucking idea what you wrote?
I usually know what I was thinking about line per line, but I guess sometimes if I just
I
go,
bet somebody asked me what a song was about from, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, and I was like, fuck it, I have no idea, dude.
no idea.
Not a clue.
Sounded good at the time.
Yeah.
You know what? When I joined the band, that was like hot off the press, and like no more refills. And I was in college.
Yeah.
I was in college studying philosophy, so I thought that was like what I kind of thought was cool. Like, oh, Kevin's like writing about these philosophers, and that was kind of like a part of what spoke to me a lot about what you were doing.
Yeah, cool. Then it served its purpose.
Yeah.
Got you in the band. All right. How have your opinions on Elton John, hardcore, and stools changed over the years? I'll be honest, I have the same opinions.
Or
I
like,
kind of like an Elton John song.
Hell yeah.
Hardcore, I think, is great for kids around 13 to 15. That's when I used to listen to hardcore. I think that's a perfect age to listen to it. And bar stools, I enjoy sitting on. I don't enjoy them so much when they're thrown at me. And I had those opinions before said show, and I continue to have those opinions.
Good answers.
No? Okay. Oh, this is long, many-part question. Was the Confession and Redacted wrote about anything specific? I mean, everything's written about something specific, isn't it? I don't know. The Confession is basically a Law and Order episode in song. Redacted is a robot song, because robot songs now all start with R-E after I stopped calling it something of the robot. During songs like Heathens, Confessions, and Second to None, Tall Trees. The orchestral part is amazing. How long did that process take?
Yeah. Patrick here did a lot of the arrangements for us. So like, yeah, we would write it in MIDI, and then Patrick would translate it, and then we hired this amazing quartet to play everything. And it took very little time. The quartet we hired plays for like Hans Zimmer and all this stuff. So it's like we just put this stuff down in front of them. And for instance, that intro to Confession, I mean, I thought that was going to take all day to record. They just like put the sheet music in front of them and they did it. And it was like, oh,
So rad.
next. I was like, okay, you know. Like,
That's cool.
yeah, and Tall Trees was also really especially cool. So a lot of the strings you hear in Tall Trees was improvised. And like I record a lot of horn players, but I don't record strings so often. And horn players, like we have like at the end of Arrive, do this messy kind of drunken, sloshy horn thing that we've used in a couple Tubring songs that I really love that vibe. And that to me is kind of like what three people improvising at once sound like, but these string players did it in such a different way. They were like reading each other's minds while they were improvising. I don't know how they did it. I asked them, how do you read each other's minds like that? And they were just like, well, we've been playing as a quartet for 10 years. And they were kind of improvising over our chords. And I had them do 4 takes and then chopped up little bits of each take to kind of create Tall Trees. And it was magical. And Kevin was there. It was just amazing.
Damn.
It was crazy. Insane.
Tall Trees is an incredibly beautiful song. Who wrote it? The music and lyrics. Rob wrote the music. I wrote the lyrics. That's easy. Hazardous Occupation is one of my favorites on the album. Who wrote the music and lyrics to that? Mostly Rob. Rob wrote the music and 3/4 of the lyrics, 2/3 of the lyrics. I wrote one part, the chorus, if you want to call it that, the Now You're a Prophet part. And that's mostly a Rob composition, though.
I was on the Discord channel right after the record came out, and so the very first thing I saw about Hazardous Occupation, somebody wrote, "Oh, that sounds like Rob," and I was like, "Wow,
Whoa.
yeah."
I agree, but then I'm very familiar with Rob's writing style, but
It was kind of I was like a little like lost my breath seeing somebody like, wow.
all right.
Guys, I'm at work. I gotta go back to work.
Oh no,
Boo. Yeah.
Bummer.
Boo.
we got to get rich and famous so we can just sit and do these.
Oh man, that's why I'm in a closet.
Yeah.
This is where I'm at. It's,
Give us a little thing about you recording the drums on Hazardous, Mike.
Yeah, give us the story before you go.
oh man.
Because
Well-
that song has amazing drum stuff that both you and Sean did. But
Yeah, both of us did. Well, I think the most memorable thing for me is, it was hard to hear those ghost notes that you wrote, Rob. It was just hard to hear exactly what was happening. I think you might have sent me the stems. Anyways, I just remember like practicing it one way, and then you're like, nope, that's not it right there. And then I think Patrick and Sean like cueing me for the kick drum. Do you guys remember that? That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, we were like really pointing.
I was like, because I'm like, all right, just give me all the help I could get. I have this part, but I can't. You learn something one way, you practice it a bunch, and you just sort of ingrain it. And then when someone throws like a monkey wrench, and I was like, I can't do that, but for some reason. But yeah, that was hilarious. And then the chorus was super fun. That it's such a those fills, and then Sean came in and did some amazing fills with that. Yeah, when I heard that song at first, that was one of my least favorite songs, like right when the demos came out. And then I was like, remember Rob? I don't know if you remember. I was like, Rob, it came around this song. I was 100% wrong. This song's incredible. Anyways, that was a lot of fun.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny too because usually Mike or Sean will play drums on a song, right? It'll be Sean playing drums or Mike playing drums, but in that song, literally both of you guys played it, and so like any given measure might be Sean or
Yeah.
Mike, like in the final version. And I don't know which is which, but
I
it's
thought
like both
that
of
was
you.
great. I
It's
love
kinda cool.
that.
Yeah, that's
We did
kinda
that on that what the fucking song is that? Jess wait, what is the name of that song?
Leave the
We
Planet
did
Behind.
it Leave the Planet Behind. Yeah. We did that on that song too. I did yeah. Sean's playing is different and awesome, and it's just cool to have. I mean, yeah. I miss being in a band, so I miss like collaborating, honestly. So to have someone there I could actually do it live with, I was like, yeah, like I know what I could do. I'd rather hear what someone else could do, It's just more fun. Anyways, I love you guys. It's good to
Love
see
you
your
too.
faces.
Good to see
Good
you.
luck.
Yeah,
Good.
thanks. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye,
Take it
everybody.
easy. All right. Where'd we leave off? Rob, are any of your high-profile pop star clients familiar with or fans of Tubbering?
I've played Labyrinth Tubbering stuff, and my like collaborator, friend, artist Haley Reinhardt is definitely familiar with Tubbering. She asked me about it the other day when she was here, and I maybe have like told Sia that I was in a rock band. I don't know that I ever played or anything, but mostly no. Like I don't really get into my stuff with them, but like a few of them do, and or I doubt any of them know the name. Like they'll probably know that I do. I'm in a rock band, but I doubt if you corner them like and ask them, hey, Tubbering, they'll be like, what are you talking about?
I actually have a story about that I haven't told you guys yet. A couple of weeks ago, Alex and I went to go see a band, and it was the band of Taylor Swift's guitar player. And so we were hanging out outside talking, and something came up about Chicago scene. I was like, yeah, I used to play in Chicago. He's like, oh, what were your bands? And so I said, I used to play in Tubbering. And he and this other dude that he was with was like, oh, dude, we know Tubbering. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, that's cool.
Taylor Swift guitar player. Yeah.
So you're saying Taylor Swift is a huge Tubbering fan?
Huge. She's massive
Nice.
band, obviously.
I think I also talked about it online somewhere, but me and Kevin got drunk one night with Patrick Stump, and he was definitely aware of Tubbering.
He definitely is, because my wife talks to him all the time.
Okay.
And yeah. So Alex was like, oh yeah, my husband's in Tubbering. He's like, oh yeah, I know him.
That's nice.
I think, yeah. So yeah, he definitely does.
Yeah. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Tubbering, we've wondered where is, shouted I am, saw the death of, and even had a requiem for the robot. Is there any in the future? Resurrection? Well, yeah, but I don't call them robot songs anymore. I kind of just said that. There was a 3-2-1 Activate song called Rebirth, and that was my way that I was going to sneak the robot songs into our new band 3-2-1 Activate, and then that went nowhere. And that became a B-side, but for some reason then I figured I would start making the robot songs just all start with RE in the beginning. So Reevaluation is a robot song, Redacted is a robot song, and Rebirth would be the 3 after the ones that actually say robot in it. Okay. Will there ever be a physical release of Choice of Catastrophes or Last and First Men? I need them. Well, there will be a vinyl release right now. I said it before. I put the link in the side, but I will make sure there's a link on Facebook. But the vinyl of Last and First Men is now available, and it is on our store. You can go there through Spotify. If you don't have that, like I said, I'll link that. So that will be the physical release. We'll see how that sells, and maybe I'll look into CDs, but that's more of a pipe dream. We'll see.
Do you have the copy? Do you have?
I got them. Yeah, I got them now. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't currently see it on Spotify, but maybe that's just because you put it up. But it'll be on Spotify for sale.
Yeah, if it's not up, I will spend tonight or tomorrow making sure. Well, I already got a few orders, so it must be working somewhat.
Sweet.
Cool. Blah, blah, blah. What prompted you guys to remaster? Well, we actually re-recorded so many Great Filter demos for Last and First Men? You want to answer, Rob? I mean, it's actually only 2.
Right. There's this guy, Billy Bob, that interviews like kind of underground indie rock bands that he likes, and he's like been very supportive of covering, and he's probably watching right now. How's it going? And he like after we did a little interview on his YouTube channel, he was like talking about how much he loved both those songs, Heathens and Figure Eight. And it just inspired me. The next day, I'd like literally re-demoed and kind of did both of them the next day. And that it was like, thanks to him. And I think Kevin and I, to some degree, always liked those songs, but just didn't want to. They just, they didn't make it on the album for various reasons at the time. And so I don't know. It just seemed like a fun thing to do. I know Kevin, you always like Heathens a lot. And we probably should have put that on Great Filter. It was just like it was difficult because it's got all these like different guitar riffs, and they're kind of I'm like an okay guitar player, but like the stuff in there was decently complicated, and then I had to try to teach it to our guitarist or just even relearn it myself when we were in the studio, and it was like so hard. So it's just like forget Heathens for now.
That's the most fucked up guitar riff I think you've ever done.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. It's probably the hardest.
Which one?
The main riff. That one's I think that's probably the hardest riff because it almost feels like copied, like pieced together. So it's in interesting. It's very. It's not super linear. A lot of downs and then ups, and just the way the fingers work.
And then there's like extra beats and the measures sometimes, I think, right? And
yeah, there's some funny timing stuff in there for sure. Yeah, that's the hardest one. It's it's fun once you get the hang of it. It's fun to play. But
yeah. And Figure Eight, I think, needed a little bit of reimagining and rearrangement that like we couldn't see at the time. But I think with the way we added the extra chorus in the middle and the end instead of once, it made more sense. And yeah, I don't know, it was fun. Kevin, you have anything to add to that? You're smiling.
No, I think you covered everything.
Okay.
I did like that Heathen song. All right. How was the experience of releasing the Best Of album on vinyl? Was it satisfying? Financially successful? I would love a volume 2. Was it satisfying? Yes. Financially successful? No. Nothing we've done has ever been financially successful. I think the reason we keep doing it is because it's satisfying, but definitely not financially.
We did do a Kickstarter for that one, though. That helped, right?
Yeah. We did the Kickstarter. We got money in. We put it all directly back into the band. In fact, we still ended up putting our own money into it. But I think we broke even at the end of it, and people got vinyls. We got a new album out of it. Yeah, the Kickstarter was successful. All right. I have 3 questions. Do you have a general theme for Last and First Men? And is it connected to a choice of catastrophes? Yes. General theme, loose theme, because everything it would be just life in the time of space colonization. Is there any specific influences or themes for songs from Last and First Men you'd like to mention? Not necessarily. I don't want to get too in-depth in the songs yet. Need a year or 2, and then maybe I'll go over what it means. How do you feel that Impress Your Creators is currently your most popular song? Good. Kind of, even before recording it, I kind of thought it would be. I say, we get asked a lot, or comments like, "Oh, it's cool, you guys, don't sell out and you do weird music and everything." And my stock answer to that is always, I've been trying to sell out for 30 years. I'm just not good at it. But like Impress Your Creators, when we went in even to record it, when I was about to do the vocals, I almost didn't want to do it. So I'm like, people are going to like this song. This is probably going to be big. But something about that made me almost then not want to do it. Obviously we did. I think about that in my head and like, oh, maybe there is something in there that I don't want to do anything. But I don't know. I'm happy it's our biggest song. Yes.
Sean, our drummer here, was the genesis of that song idea. What do you think, Sean?
I mean, what about it? I mean, I feel pretty good about it being a popular song.
What like
Hey, you have a popular song. How do you feel about that? Good.
Do you like have any like memories of like what inspired you on it, or like of the demo? It was a little bit different probably than, because it evolved obviously when we were in the studio, but the bones of it are like all you.
Yeah.
The music.
Yeah, I don't think I was really influenced by anything specific. I was just trying to write something that was sounded fun. And
were you trying to like write something that sounded like Tubbring, or was it something that you just wanted to write and then gave like to the Tubbring ethos?
I think it was definitely something that I was writing like for the Tubbring project. You know, when we started talking about doing some new songs, and so that was one of the ones that I wrote for this band.
Cool.
I don't know.
Very cool.
All right, Rob, do you still have nightmares about lemons?
That's like an inside deep cut joke, I guess. I got hit in the face by a lemon when I was playing guitar for Mindless Self-Indulgence, and that's funny. Yeah, I never. It wasn't a big deal to me, but I know like the person that threw it got in trouble and got wasn't allowed to go to the shows anymore for a bit after that. But yeah, I thought it was funny. You know, it's like when you're in a punk rock band, anything goes on stage, right? So bar stool, lemon, what have you, you know.
You're saying that made me think of a show we played in Detroit with Mindless Self-Indulgence, and it was one of my favorite shows because the crowd didn't all love us or all hate us. It was about half and half, and that was fun. So like half the crowd loves us, half the crowd hates us. You could play them off each other, and there was some guy in the front that was just yelling at us the whole time. So I was yelling stuff back at him, not mad. I was just kind of messing around with him, and he was just getting more and more mad. And then between songs, I'd make fun or point out, and I was having fun. And then he took an ashtray and threw it at me, and he got kicked out, and I kind of felt bad because I was asking for it, and he didn't get to see the band he was there to see. And granted, he should know better than throwing an ashtray, but at the same time, I was kind of asking for it because I was having fun.
Poor kid.
Poor kid. Oh, well. Don't throw ashtrays or bar stools. Well, that is the questions I have there. Maybe we can read through the comments, anything that we missed.
There was a couple more from Instagram, I think. What's on Kevin's bookshelf? Or did you cover that?
I kind of did.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the biggest influences for this album aren't books. No Man's Sky, a video game, and Starfield. Both of those have some pretty heady themes, and I've been playing a lot of that, and that's all about colonization, and I would say that definitely seeped in and became an influence.
And what would they want? Copy of a copy wants Pop Medley 2024. What would we be putting in Pop Medley 2024 if we did one?
Man, I'm behind on my pop music. I don't know what's a huge song that would be fun to do that you can't get away from.
Chapel Roan, Pink Pony Club.
Yeah.
I worked with Chapel Roan, by the way, and so we could even have her guest on it, maybe.
There you go.
That would be interesting.
Nice. Her bass player played on my Black Metal's record, the last one.
Sweet. Yeah, I don't know. There's like somebody mentioned WIAP, right? Or WIP.
WAP.
WAP, yeah. WAP, maybe. I don't know. You know, like Kevin, you always selected every single one of those songs for the pop medley.
Yes, I did.
That was like all Kevin through and through.
How about Not Like Us, the Kendrick Lamar diss track for Drake? I think that would be a good song to throw in there. No, nobody. See, we're all out of our pop. If I don't know my Chappell Ronan that well, and if you're not knowing Kendrick Lamar, guess we're out of our pop scene.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember this, but like me and you like mused on the idea of at one point like having a Tubbring show, and instead of doing our set, we just came out and did the R. Kelly opera.
Trapped in the Closet?
Yeah. And like that, and without any explanation, just play that for like its entirety, like an hour worth of stuff. And we were like, that would be brilliant. Like that would be, I'd be up for something like that.
I would totally be up for it. I'm sure the only thing that stopped us from doing it is the work we would have to put into.
It would be very difficult.
But pretty much all be on me. I think the song just is the same, the music, and I would have to learn a book of lyrics of.
But you're good at that stuff.
Okay. Could hide a notepad on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. You got anything else? I'm looking on the side to see if I see anything.
It's hard for me to read Instagram with my phone sideways, but there might be stuff on here. I don't know. What you guys, Patrick, Sean, you guys want to like share any memories of this album or recording? Like,
Patrick.
Yeah.
I know I was like terrified to not have you by my side during the studio stuff, because Patrick is like our resident like ear, like with like being in key and making the proper, like doing the proper thing, like when I can't figure out what the fuck is wrong with something I don't like, Patrick understands what's happening musically way better than I do. And I know like my confidence is way stronger when you're around in the studio.
I appreciate it. I was terrified when you were doing the strings because I couldn't make that one, and I had done all the sheet music, so I was like, "Oh fuck!" I was like waiting for a text message being like, "It's all fucked up. Nothing lines up." I just wasted all this money. I'm paying by the hour anyway. So that turned out great. So
yeah, as he said, exactly the opposite. They pulled out the sheet music and just.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think that was probably one of my favorite aspects of it. Was like at the end. Towards the end of like kind of doing all this was when you guys were like, hey, can you come up with this like string quartet intro thing kind of like this, and then whipped that up in like just like back and forth in like, I don't know, an hour maybe of getting through all that, and then it ended up starting the record, right? Like it's literally the first thing that anybody hears.
Yeah, the confession thing.
Yeah, and I think that set a great mood, and I think that's probably my favorite part. Also, plus like when you're like as a writer putting something down onto paper or even like a demo or whatever, it like hearing like world-class musicians play that is like literally there's no thing cooler. I think that is the coolest thing you can do as a writer is hear other amazing musicians play something that you just love. You know.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How was it for you, Sean?
It was a really fun experience. It was kind of cool having two bassists there to work with as a drummer. You know, it's like we had different bassists and different drummers on various songs, and it was kind of neat the way it worked out like that.
Yeah, I was concerned that maybe we had too many bassists coming in, but I think they both. So for the album, we used Mark Vasquez from Idea Men that me and Kevin had been buddies with forever, and Matt Finn from Mike's other group, Hunab Ku, and I was really happy they both kind of added something that was very like unique to them, and it's like I think it was cool to have both of their flavors playing on, and I think we kind of let them choose what songs they were going to play on, and I think they chose the right songs for them without a doubt.
Yeah, I think it worked out really well.
Yeah. How did you like the studio? How did you guys like that studio compared to
nice.
Catastrophe Studio?
I liked a lot. The vibe's great. Like it's definitely got more of like a retro vibe to it. Everybody there was super professional, quick. I appreciated that. Like get everything going right away. Yeah, I did that place a lot. Was that your first time there, Rob?
It was my first time working there. I wanted to record at the place we did Choice of Catastrophes, but that's gone. They moved that gear across town, and I was actually trying to get us into that room across town, but yeah, they're like a little flaky. Yeah, we won't go too much into it.
What is it? It was Serenity West, right? It was the name. Is it still called that?
No, now they're in Sound Factory, I think, which is just down the road. And great gear. But like honestly, I really loved that room. I loved the Choice of Catastrophes studio is what we're discussing for anybody that's like lost context. It's just a really great, huge ceiling room, and just like I kind of prefer that place more than anywhere. And it's a shame the whole building's gone. They like knocked it down.
Yeah, that's not super wide control room, so you can see the whole room and everybody can see each other and like.
Yeah, Neve board. Yeah, it's great. New album was API, which is always not my choice after Neve, but it's also good.
Well, I don't have any more questions. This was fun. I mean, do you have anything?
Did we want to?
Probably a lot I missed. Could always do this again.
Did we want to like address anything about Jason? There was like a couple.
Sure. Yeah, that was really rough when we started writing this album. Jason was part of it, and we were all sending things back and forth, and he even sent in a song. Fortunately, we didn't get to it. It just had the bass line yet, but we're really excited for him to come in and put all his stuff in, which is always not what we expect and blows us away. And he got, I guess you could say he got meningitis. I say that because when a young musician dies suddenly, of course, people's brains can go of what happened, crazy things. He got meningitis. He went to the doctor and they said it's a cold, and he just got worse and worse. And then he went back in, and by the time they diagnosed it, apparently it was too late. So that was pretty fucking terrible. Yeah, and his presence was definitely missed. I was really looking forward to all of us getting back together and recording.
And it was like just 3 or so months before we were heading into the studio when it happened. Yeah. So it was like out of nowhere.
Anything else you want? Yeah, I mean, I started the band with him. Known him since I was 17. Yeah, it sucked. Totally sucked.
I had not really talked to him a ton between moving to Los Angeles and Choice of Catastrophes, but then when we did Choice of Catastrophes, we like were buds again, and it was great. And yeah, it's like it was really sad to hear that, and like would have loved to have him on it. And yeah, it was definitely a bummer for everybody.
Okay.
Right? You can't end on that.
Yeah. All right. What else?
Brandon Anderson's asking Rob if he ever worked with John Congleton.
So John Congleton was gonna maybe produce and or mix Secret Handshakes, and I was like on the phone with him a bunch during that time, and ultimately it didn't happen. But no, I've never worked with him, but I would love to at some point. He's in LA now, and I'm like a fanboy of his. But that would have been cool for him to do Secret Handshakes. I think it probably we just didn't have the money at the time, and that was probably when he was like super cheap, and now he's probably as expensive as it comes. But oh well.
His Instagram is pretty glorious. He has an equally dark sense of humor. That's for sure.
I actually don't follow him on Instagram, and I don't know why I don't, and now I have to. Wow.
Yeah, you should. It's very dark.
Me and Patrick went and saw him play solo Nighty Night, right?
Yeah.
In LA, man, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I mean, I was almost like, how's he gonna pull this off without the band? And it's just him and a guitar, but it was as good as a full band. He's like so great.
We saw the Paper Chase together too, I think, right? At Empty Bottle. Did we go? I think we did.
I definitely saw Paper Chase there a couple times. Yeah. So you must have been with us. And then I saw Paper Chase at South by Southwest in like 2010 or something like that also, which was.
I remember that. It was the time that we played South by Southwest.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think you guys see them.
Yeah, maybe the next one we'll do with him if we can get like $1 million to pay his fee now that he's like A-lister.
Yeah, I like the Regina Spektor record that he did not that long ago. I think is pretty brilliant, really beautiful.
I haven't heard that one yet, but I was really surprised to see. I didn't know that he had done that Franz Ferdinand Sparks album, and and then he's in the documentary, the Sparks documentary. I was like, oh, well, holy cow!
Wild.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think there's probably a lot of questions and stuff we can go over at a later time. Once again, the vinyl is now available. I will be posting links to it, or you can just go to the store. Like I said, it's linked through Spotify, but I should put it in more places for everyone to find. And other than that, anybody else have anything they want to add?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Well, I'm saying this. Maybe we should do this again sometime soon. Since we're not touring, we can do another discussion because there's a lot we haven't hit. Cool. Well,
Sure.
Thank you everyone for coming, for joining us on our Tubring live stream, and hopefully we'll see you all soon.
Good to see you guys.
Bye. Oh. How do I stop it? End stream.